A specter is haunting the internet. The specter of main character syndrome.
No one matters but me.
Basically, main character syndrome is when someone talks with an absurd level of self-importance and delusion. Even though they won't outright say it, they clearly believe that they are the main character of Earth. But that can't be true, because Squeezy Jibs is the real protagonist of humanity. Personally, I think the existence of social media is the main cause of this delusion, as a lot of people let the self-importance of creating content kind of get to their heads. Or maybe it's the other way around, and the camera just shows the world or exacerbates it. Or maybe it's a dialectical relationship. I don't know. If it was an obvious answer, I wouldn't be making a video about it, would I? So today, we're going to go through an absurd low-light tape of cringy main character moments to see if there's anything we can learn. There probably isn't, but it's still pretty funny. What, do you expect educational content from a guy who talks about the Omegaverse? Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyways, the first type of main character I want to cover are the people who create a very fake persona, usually a very unrealistic movie-like one, that betrays an underlying inflated ego. Here's an example.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, square up, man, square up! Why you in that cage, huh? You too scared to fight me, you fucking coward? You got that on camera, right? That's on camera? We're good? It's such a good example of protagonist delusion for this guy to look back at this video afterwards and be like, yup, that's the one. That's totally gonna make me look good. And the way he looks at the camera to see if it caught him on tape is so funny to me. He tried to make it look like it was his, innate masculine instinct that made him square up to this tiger, but that little glance he gives to the camera completely ruins it. Like, yeah, buddy, you're self-aware. That wasn't your animal instinct. And it is so masculine to throw your wife after being scared of a caged animal. But hey, maybe women love that. Maybe that's the method nowadays, okay? One of those alpha male dating advice guys, but the only advice they give is to throw women at high speeds. Fellas, no matter what the woke left tries to tell you, it is not about the G-spot. It's about the G-force. And you know, f*** it. I'ma try it. I'm gonna see if this works or not. Well, the woke left strikes again. You got what you wanted, guys. Can't even throw a woman nowadays. You know, that used to be romantic back in my day, but... What? Oh my gosh, not this fucking guy again. Why are you in that cage, man? Come fight me. Come fight me, dude. And anytime I see a cringy video like this, I always ask myself how in the world they got the other people in the video to sign off on this. Hey, wifey, would you like to go harass some zoo animals with me? Why, yes, hubby. I think this will reflect really well on our family. And final question, why does this guy's shirt just say no on it? Hey, man, you want to go? Alright then. And that video is not unique at all. For some reason, being on camera just changes completely how people act. I mean, no one's immune to it. Everyone puts on a character on camera. I do too, a little bit. But some people's characters are really specifically faked and curated to get people's attention. And I feel like one of the best examples of this is being mic'd up during sports games.
We out Samdo! 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 Oh my god. I feel like Samdo.
Like, I'm sorry, you would not be talking this way if this wasn't recorded. Dude, come on.
I feel like him with this mic on bull. Stop pushing me, I'll punch you. You don't even know who you're talking to. You got a fucking mic on. What the fuck? I'm off the bench, bro.
Because you're missing layups. See what I mean, though? It's like as soon as there's a mic and a camera present, dudes just immediately think that they're the main character and that they got mic privilege. Either way, it's like, why are we just micing up literally anybody nowadays, dude? Who is asking for this, right? Another example of this really weird camera behavior is biker guys on the internet who adopt this pandering persona to market themselves to certain demographics of women on the internet, such as book talk women. Wow, someone should make a video about that. I feel like that one would be pretty good. Finish this one first. I know, you love my content already, you want to subscribe. Wait a sec. Here's a biker guy.
It's someone who wants a biker boyfriend, but can't get one! Let me show you what you're gonna get! So welcome to my insides!
Oh, look how much room I have in here!
You guys all want a biker boyfriend, but what you don't want is the trauma, the caffeine addiction, the random back pain.
Oh, and definitely the emotional unavailability, disguised as being mysterious.
Oh, and
Great heavens, man. I've done this before with another biker guy, but I feel like to really illustrate my point, I gotta use my ultimate again, okay? I'm gonna reenact this so you just really see what I mean by this being so forced. Welcome to my insides.
Oh, there's so much room in here!
So you guys all want a biker boyfriend, but what you don't want is the trauma, the caffeine addiction, the random back pain, and definitely not the emotional unavailability disguised as mysteriousness. I hope that illustrated my point. But that isn't the only biker doing absurd shit. These dudes literally walk around in public with a cameraman in front and behind them, and then zoom in on people who look at them. I'd be so pissed if I looked and they zoomed in on me, because they're trying to like portray it. Again, it's really weird main character ego shit. They're trying to portray all the bystanders as looking at them as if they're like just overcome with awe or aura, and it's just like, no, they're wondering why in the world there's 3 biker guys wearing helmets and suits walking laps in sync around the mall. That's why they're looking, man. Like, what kind of fit is that? I'd be staring too. The last thing about bikers that I forgot to mention last time I covered them is that, dude, apparently there's a whole ecosystem of helmet thirst trappers who have a motorcycle helmet, but don't have a motorcycle. They bought a helmet just to thirst trap. And yeah, if you remember Moto Cozy, the skibbity recycling guy, he actually started out that way. I forgot to mention that.
And when I'm like the new gen skibbity toilet. I'm skibbity recycling. Oh shoot.
That's just so funny to me. It's like, the need for book talk women attention is so strong in some people that they go out and buy a helmet for a bike they don't even have. And the rest of the biker community really hates it. Like, all the other biker thirst trappers don't like the helmet guys. And like, you would never think that this sort of like battle is being fought in some weird niche communities, but it is. I love it. That sort of thing brings me so much joy. And the thing about bikers and mass content creators is that you kind of expect them to be a little less main character-ish, because like, you know, it doesn't really reflect on them as a person, but personally, I have seen the opposite. A lot of people wearing masks on the internet tend to be emboldened by anonymity, and it really makes their like protagonist persona way worse.
One of the first things I do when I get home back to Oregon is I literally just drive around with fucking both cars, let everybody know I'm here, just fucking little rev here, little fucking flex circle here, pop, 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 make sure I pull up here, let everybody know that Big Poppy's back in town for a minute. So
I can tell this guy's new to rage baiting. Even when he's saying this absurd, overcompensating shit, he's not even fully confident with it. Big Poppy is back in town. You sound like a cop. Hello, is there any flour at this establishment? And I feel like this guy is a perfect example of why people get main character syndrome. Oftentimes it's a way to compensate for their insecurity. Like, he replies to every single person who like criticizes him with some middle school tier your mom joke. And then like every single video is him trying to flex his wealth in the most ham-fisted way possible.
I can't do this standing in line. Bro, I can't do this. You got this. I can't do this. I gotta I'm sorry, bro. I just can't do that. That's ridiculous. I'm not gonna sit there and f myself for the next 20 minutes while Dr. Dump gets his EBT out. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, did you catch that, guys? Did you hear that? I don't have to wait in lines. In fact, I'm gonna say it 5 more times just so you really get that in your head, that I don't have to wait in lines. It's just so desperate. It's hilarious. But Royal, you're reacting to rage bait. This is engagement bait. And guess what? Rage bait's still fucking lame, because you're basically just admitting that your actual personality isn't enough to get attention, so you have to resort to that. And the intent is still obviously to look rich, it's just that didn't work for him without rage bait. It doesn't even work for him with rage bait. He is desperate to seem more famous than he actually is.
I'm in San Tropez right now at the Louis Vuitton Cafe, right? Yes, sir. Yeah. We're out here just flexing. Now listen, this is my first time wearing the fucking mask in Europe, and these people are fucking tripping, bro. Tripping. I love it though. Literally sit down, everybody just stares. My bodyguard's like fucking 6'10", 280 pounds, so it'd knock you the fuck out, bro.
Yeah, dude, everybody's tripping when they saw The Mask, because everybody totally knows what The Mask is. And that's what The Mask is. And if you look in the reflection, you can see that literally nobody is looking at him. Like, not a single person. It's so funny to me. And there's not a bodyguard in sight. And dude, who's hiring a bodyguard for 6,000 followers? By that logic right now, I need like 6 or 7 bodyguards. Funny. Which is fucking stupid, because I live in a more populated place in Oregon, and I've only ever been recognized once, and that was at Walmart. And I highly doubt anyone's gonna try to switch me down at Walmart. I'm not delusional enough to think that. But maybe he is, man. Maybe the chain's possessing him. It kinda looks like it. Being famous in Portland is like being famous in Guam. Also, these are allegations, but apparently he got exposed for leasing these cars, which I think is so funny. It's like, you're trying to come off as this like wealthy playboy, but you're renting your cars and you're flexing someone else's wealth. That's so good. But even if they are his cars, I think there's one thing we need to remember. A piece of ancient scripture. All that money don't unlame you. Here's another lame rich guy that does not understand how to market himself to the average person. And he tells these absurd, unrealistic stories to try to differentiate himself from the poor, whores.
I started eating at a Chinese restaurant. And I used to go there. Eventually, the owner fell in love with me. And he said, that kid is special. And I would come to him, and before I would eat, he would move all of the tables, and he would teach me Kung Fu. And I was 10 years old.
Like, dude, how do you think the world works? Why would anybody believe this? Something you'll notice with a lot of these main characters is a lot of their stories and actions seem very Hollywood. Like, they literally narrate their stories like it's a plot of a movie. And a lot of the details in the story are very unnecessarily convenient or convoluted to make the speaker look better. Like, dude, a more convincing lie would just be to say you asked your local Chinese restaurant owner to teach you Kung Fu, which is an absurd fucking microaggression, but that's a macroaggression. But still, it's a lot more believable than, I feel a divine urge to teach you Kung Fu because you're just super innately special. Let's move all the tables during work hours so I can teach you. I mean, you know, we could just do it outside or after your shift, you know, it's not a big deal. No, because then the story wouldn't be so dramatic, and these weird podcast chuds won't think you're the chosen one. Get with the program, man. It's just a bizarre narrative, and I can't believe that he believes that it's believable. Believe it. Like, does he have a head injury? Is he good?
If you train your skull for about an hour a day, bang it against the wall, after a year it becomes 4 times thicker than it really is.
Okay, that explains some things. And I don't know if any of y'all know this, but I'm actually pretty well accomplished in the medical field. And in my expert opinion, you really shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. Like, it sounds like thickening your skull would be good in combat, like, you know, good for sports maybe, but if you do this too much though, there are some pretty bad side effects. Like, if you thicken these areas up here, you might end up becoming Yakub and creating white people, and I don't think any of us want that. Anyways, last clip I want to cover from this guy.
Ali, you're a nice guy, but you're not speaking to somebody that will just let you speak this way, you know?
What the fuck are you gonna do about this shit, bro? What the fuck are you talking about?
Ali, you're a nice guy, but you're not speaking to someone who will let you speak that way. Dude, if this doesn't encapsulate main character syndrome, I don't know what does. Like, the whole way they speak, the way it's framed, it's just so delightfully delusional, dude. I love it. They're trying to hype it up so hard with the editing to make it seem like these two beacons of masculinity are clashing. Like, in their head, this looks like Shanks versus Whitebeard. But in reality, it's two fucking podcast guys being unnecessarily sensitive over words. It's like watching two disabled cats fighting. It's just uncomfortable for everyone involved. But yeah, before I move on from these guys, the last thing I need to mention is that Ben Azoli was convicted for assaulting a minor. I'm dead serious. This corny, egotistical guy is actually one of the worst people imaginable. And really, I feel like this illustrates so well the power of social media to create these bizarre egos that these main characters have. In his head, he's a kung fu master who's a mafia boss who beat up like 30 people at once. But in reality, he's a sex offender. But the nature of content creation allowed him to escape to this weird fantasy world that nobody else takes seriously but himself.
I fought 30 guys at the same time, and they couldn't take me out.
Like, you've committed some of the worst crimes you could possibly commit, but still in his head, he thinks he's like the chosen one or something. It's ridiculous. For main characters, there is such a split between their reality and what they believe about themselves. It's like Chris Chan. Okay, enough about that though. Other people have already covered that case in depth. That's a little out of the scope of this video. But something that is in the scope of this video is another type of main character who I like to call Derek's. The reason I call him that, it reminds me of this one meme I saw, which I couldn't really find it at the time of writing, but it's a promoted video on YouTube of a guy named Derek. He has like 40 subs, and the video's titled Day in the Life of Derek. And then like, there's like another caption superimposed on top that says, yo, who the fuck is Derek? So basically to me, what a Derek is somebody who doesn't really understand the scale of their social media. Like making a day in your life as your first video, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. We don't know you yet, man. And I'm not trying to dunk on anyone for being a small creator. If I walked outside right now and said, do you know who I am? Oh, they probably would because I live on campus. But if I did it anywhere else, that would be Derek behavior. Because I don't understand the current scale of my social media presence. Even though 40k subs is absolutely bonkers. Thank you all so much. They call me Warhammer because I got 40k. Subscribe so that my future kids can be super entitled and say things like, do you know who my dad is? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about the future again. Don't make me tap the sign. Anyways, yeah, Derek's. So the funny part about Derek behavior is that it's actually possible for literally anybody, such as this woman who had 1 million TikTok followers and did a meet and greet, and yet nobody showed up. Which, don't get me wrong, that's not me clowning on her for no reason. I'm just really trying to put into perspective how small social media actually can be compared to the creator's perception of it and like main character thoughts. Here's a much more shameful example. We'll get into the looks maxers later, but this is one of those strange dudes who basically just makes their entire content about how good they look and how well they can pick up women on camera. And as far as I know, he's one of the more tame examples, but he still has a very rabid parasocial fan base, which has led to a massively inflated sense of self-importance.
7 days, not a word, not a video, not a clip, not a post, nothing. You may wonder, or you may not wonder, why do you do this? Why did you do this experiment? Why are you even making this video? Why was you silent for 7 days straight? I want to test the internet. I want to see how bad and easy or hard you can really fool the internet.
And dude, this video absolutely popped off on TikTok for the complete wrong reasons. Like, this guy took a week off and tried to spin it into some crazy anime villain shit just to realize that literally nobody noticed, like, not even his fans. You are assigning so much unearned importance to yourself, it's ridiculous. Like, say it with me now. You are not the protagonist, you know? People aren't just constantly thinking about you. And as you can probably tell now, that least gold car guy is an absolutely perfect example of a Derek, because his entire content is about how famous he is, when he isn't. I don't know, I feel like the most prevalent example of Derek so are just really small accounts doing things like centered around themselves as a person when it's like, dude, we don't know you yet. It's like, why do we need a day in the life this early on? Like, man, I've been doing YouTube for like 1.5 years now. I still wouldn't do a day in the life. But that's more so because I'm not ready to admit what a day in my life would look like. Another type of main character are those who think that conventional social norms and rules don't apply to them because they're on camera. Such as this guy who thought doing calisthenics in public was a great idea, and literally gets within an inch of kicking a kid in the face and still uploads the video. Also, I just gotta say, wearing your Instagram handle on your clothes is insane behavior. Here's another one, a group of TikTokers complaining that they can't hear the music coming from their phone during a live music performance. There's just something about being a content creator that turns people into absolute goobers with no self-awareness at all, or just a weird entitlement to the rest of the world. And not all of them are like this. I hope I'm not. I feel like it's kind of like being a ghoul from Fallout, where it's like, a lot of them are fine, they live normal lives and don't go feral, but some of them go full cannibal mode when exposed to the radiation of a banana. Speaking of people like this.
What? Will you stop doing that, please? It's not okay.
No one matters but me.
Anyways, we'll start over.
What was the goal of that anyway? What were you gonna prove? Like, is that supposed to make you look good or charming? Again, just a camera in the room makes people absolutely insane. I mean, she's definitely drunk, but like, even if I was drunk, I cannot imagine having the balls to do something like that. Popping in a live, clearly coordinated, like, sectioned off TikTok video and claim that I'm the only one who matters before drunkenly stumbling off and making a weird Snapchat face. Also, where does she walk after this? That's what I want to know. And I want to know her thought process so bad and like what the rest of the night is like. Do you think she had like another confrontation with them later? Do you think they just exchange awkward glances the whole time? Like, what happens after this? What happens when she sobers up too? Hell, dude, if I'm drunk, I'm scared to even dance until I'm like slurring my words. Much less do something like that. Okay, enough about unhealthy stuff. Now to some healthy stuff. The gym is unfortunately a place where main characters congregate. Because for some reason, people will start a fitness account and then immediately let it get to their heads. And they really just forget that they share the gym with other people. And like, don't get me wrong, I love fitness accounts, especially if they're educational. But some of them are absurdly controlling when it comes to filming. Like this person, for example, who is literally harassing someone for being in their frame. It's up to you to find unobstructed space to film in. Or just be cool with people in the background living their own life. That's like walking around a park and getting mad that there are people inside. And it gets even worse, and I can't even show these, but there are so many videos of dudes doing like lat spreads in gym bathrooms or gym locker rooms and filming it. And there's like people in the background. It's just like, I'm pretty sure that's a crime. Or at least it's enough to get you banned from a gym. But no, since they're the main character, all those rules and consequences don't apply to them. Until they do. Hey, at least they're not doing glute spreads in there though. Anyways, I seriously think a lot of these influencers actually have theory of mind issues. Like, they literally cannot, like, put themselves in the eyes of another person. Like this girl, for example, who set her phone 20 feet away across a walkway and then is getting mad when people are walking between it. It's like, okay, if you have the camera a foot away in an obvious space and someone walks through it, that's not cool. But dude, you have it across a walkway. People are gonna walk through. It's a cow farm. There's gonna be cows outside. Like, people aren't gonna look both ways before crossing you, dude. That's absurd to expect that. And building off this, something else I've noticed on social media that I find really funny is how often creators will try to bend the narrative of the thing that you're literally watching happen. Like in this video, all the editing and text and captions are just in disbelief. But what we're really watching is a completely normal scenario where she's actually in the wrong. And sometimes the opposite happens, where like the story being told or the content being made is absolutely absurd, but the editing is done in a super deadpan way. Because again, the main character syndrome, like people can't like get an objective grip on reality. They're either making other people seem guilty or whitewashing their own actions. And I think the greatest example of this is Gaming for Hope from the Overwatch community. Basically, this guy plays Overwatch and wants to go pro. Awesome, I hope he makes it. Let's see his roadmap.
In what may refer to as ELO Hell, otherwise known as Platinum. Let's be honest, the gap between a Platinum player and the top 50 teams in the OWCS feels like not just one Grand Canyon, but at least 4. As a result, my first major goal on this journey is to elevate myself to the level of a Masters tank player. Achieving this involves a variety of strategies and a lot of dedicated effort.
Well, this is very well edited, very well put together, great microphone, better than mine. So he's got the content down, not the game down. That's okay. He even admits that it is a very large gap. I'm sure he'll be ranking up in no time.
First, we'll focus on paying off our debts, which fortunately consist of just a couple of car loans and some credit card bills. Once that's sorted, we'll build an emergency fund that can cover a full year of our expenses. After we accomplish these goals, I plan to quit my teller job and use that extra time to focus on creating content and improving my skills as an Overwatch competitor.
Oh great heavens, he quit his job while in Platinum League to go pro. For reference, Platinum is the average skill. And furthermore, for reference, Champion League is 0.1% of players, and not even all of them are pro. The editing, the presentation, the voice, it's all so good, you kind of gloss over the absurdity of the subject matter for a sec. It's like, oh yeah, of course he's quitting his job to pursue Overwatch. What? Again, it's just so crazy seeing like the main character delusion presented in such a way. As for his actual story, he didn't end up going pro and did get employed again. Also, he's allegedly homophobic and has a huge laundry list of allegations that led to this fucking hilarious screenshot. Like, the comments were calling this the Nuremberg trials. And yeah, most of these were proven false or unsubstantiated, as far as I'm aware. But once again, that's out of the scope of this video. I'm not really in the business of being like an allegation tuber. The reason I bring this guy up though, is just like I said, it's so funny that people with this like delusional protagonist mindset will sometimes structure their content in a way that just kind of bends reality, if it makes sense. Like, you're listening to an absolutely absurd plan be proposed. And that sounds like it was ripped from an anime and would be extremely unlikely in real life, but it's presented in such a deadpan, professional, like, matter-of-fact way. Like, oh yeah, of course I'm doing this.
After we accomplish these goals, I plan to quit my teller job.
Like, the dichotomy kind of makes you forget how absurd this all is. Wow, the dichotomy is crazy. Nothing wrong with a healthy amount of protagonism or, you know, like betting on yourself. I think that's a great thing. I think you need to do more of it, actually. This is a sign. There's something you've been waiting for. This is a sign. But what I think is so main character syndrome about this is that, like, that's not a bet. That's hitting on 20. Like, if you spend all your free time playing Overwatch, even with a 9 to 5, you could probably get to Masters or Grandmasters. So how about you quit once you're up there and then bet on yourself, you know? Otherwise, that's not a safe bet. But moving on, next type of main character. The archetype that I like to call the Instagram note. It's a little bit hard to describe. It's basically people creating beef or sharing inspirational quotes with absolutely nobody. Kind of like what people do on Instagram notes. Like, dude, death before dishonor? What could possibly be going on to warrant this as a note? You know what I mean? It's like they'll have like 10 followers and they're talking about like, you know, never trusting anybody. And it's just like, dude, who are you talking to? Who are you worried about, man? So yeah, the Instagram notes are merged a little bit with the Derek's. I'm talking nonsense right now. Anyways, example.
I ain't even finna count. I became very nonchalant. But this is what y'all wanted, right? To me not give a fuck. Congratulations. Now I really don't give a fuck.
Dude, who are you? All the comments are asking the same thing too. Like, who wanted you to be nonchalant? No, I forgot, dude. Don't you all remember? We all had that meeting where we were trying to get this guy to be more nonchalant. Like, we were all worried because this guy kept giving a fuck. We were all concerned about this.
Now I really don't give a fuck.
Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars.
Here's another Instagram note.
Yo, I'm looking for somebody who's for. Not a for right now. Not a for everybody. Not a for the moment. But a for lifer. Fuck is you talking about?
I didn't say anything, dude. Also, this guy's tattoo is absolutely killing me. And I love imagining them coordinating their lines behind the camera. Like, okay, I'm a for right now, for everybody. Then you're gonna say not a for the moment, but a for lifer. And then I'm gonna say, fuck is you talking about? Like, I love imagining the planning phase for these ridiculous TikToks that like shouldn't exist. Like, how did none of you question any of this going up to make it? You know, like, none of y'all sat down and were just like, man, this is a little corny and directed at nobody. It's so vague and targeted. I just don't get the motivation behind this sort of post. But I guess main characters do. I don't know. Okay, I was supposed to have more examples of the Instagram note archetype, but when I looked that up on Instagram Reels, I saw a picture of goth Judy Hopps and I got distracted, so yeah, I don't have any more of these guys. So on to our next and final archetype, the looks maxers and thirst trappers. So if you don't know by now, there's this really weird subculture online called the looks maxers, which on the surface seems totally fine. Like, okay, these people are trying to max out their looks. Cool. But then you look a little deeper and realize that all of them take steroids, spam surgeries, recommend teenagers to do the same thing, and really just foster face dysmorphia within children. It's absurd. And it's even worse because their ideal look is Chris from Tinder. And despite the fact that all their content involves just going to random clubs and harassing women, they are incredibly chronically online, act like main characters, despite most people finding them incredibly insufferable, and do not understand theory of mind, and that maybe the person they're talking to hasn't heard their bizarre incel forum lingo.
You are not him.
I am him and everybody knows. I mob you to death. Who the LTV and everyone's gonna call you that. Your mid-face ratio is cool.
This guy called someone an LTB, or low tier Becky, in real life. Basically, that means someone's like a 4 out of 10. Like, this video is almost unwatchable due to secondhand embarrassment. The amount of ego radiating through the screen, combined with what's actually happening, is just poisonous to me. Nobody who is him would use incel TikTok lingo in real life. That's like me walking on the street right now and calling someone a chud. It's just embarrassing. And you can be as attractive as you want, but if you can't fucking talk to people, and your vibe screams, I spend all my time on misogynistic looks maxing internet forums, you're gonna get clowned on. And clowned on these people are, like this other looks maxer. This dude admitted to taking hard drugs to fix social anxiety, as well as suppress his appetite just to be lean. And this is what I mean about main characters. It's like, they will say this absurd and then still have an ego about them, as if they're not doing the stupidest thing imaginable. There's such a dramatic irony between their words to their actual behaviors. And I really think main characterism really thrives off of having no self-awareness. And that kind of leads me to my thoughts about main character syndrome as a whole. Basically, I think this sort of behavior is driven by social media, and the act of content creation specifically. Because like curating an online persona tends to make a lot of people think that they're the center of the world. I think everybody is this way to an extent. That's how humans are, it's fine. You obviously gotta care about yourself, but the reality is that people care a lot less than you think they do. And I think main characterism is a sign of thinking the opposite, that everybody cares. I think entitled main character behaviors always existed. Like, I know I imply a lot in this video that social media creates this sort of thing, but I really think it just exacerbates it for the most part. And really, the camera just exposes what's already there and makes it worse. As for the symptoms of this disease itself, I think it generally looks like people thinking that they're in a movie, and either acting like it, narrating their life like it is, in a very fictional way, or bending the fabric of reality through editing and their own narration of events. Now, if people always act like they're in a movie, I don't know. That might be a more modern thing that's stoked on by social media, but I think people have always been egotistical. It's just social media either makes it worse or puts it on display. And overall, I think main characterism is one of my least favorite parts of social media, and that's a thing I actually really criticize a lot, even if I don't outright say it on this channel. And I really think it runs deeper than a lot of people think. Everyone knows that influencers are an example of this sort of thing, but I'd say it extends to even smaller things, like the really self-indulgent like roles and bios that people have on Discord. I feel like that's an example of it too. Or like people who have like a Steam profile and they put like their Spotify on it or like their Amazon wish list. It's like, dude, who are you? But yeah, I think it just goes a lot deeper than people think. Anyways, that's all I got. Later.